Hey guys, this book is called Spaghetti and Meatballs for All. It's by Marilyn Burns and it's illustrated by Debbie Tilley. The story begins with characters Mr. and Mrs. Comfort. They have decided to have a family reunion and they're going to be serving their famous spaghetti and meatballs. On the day of the reunion, Mrs. Comfort has to make a seating plan for the 32 people, including themselves, that will be there. She starts with 8 tables and 4 people at each of them. But after some of the family comes, they keep changing the tables. When one group comes, they decide to push one more table together, so they have 2 tables together, and then more people keep coming, so they keep pushing more tables together. And Mrs. Comfort is just thinking all this is craziness. It's not what her plan was, and it's not going to work. As more people keep coming, they keep pushing and pushing and pushing all the tables together until all of the tables are together. But then not everyone is going to fit anymore. So eventually they end up putting the tables back to the way that she had originally planned them to be, all of them by themselves with 4 people at each table. The story is involving dividing all these people up into different groups so that everyone has a seat at the table, but the main math content is about the perimeter and area, so you can really pull this out from this book and talk about that in a classroom discussion. In the classroom, you could read this book to the class to introduce that area and perimeter idea. It's kind of helping the kids understand this a little easier. It kind of adds some more real world context to it. I'm sure a lot of kids can relate to this with having family reunions of their own or birthday parties where they're trying to figure out how they can fit all these tables and how everyone's going to fit. And something that they can really relate to. In the classroom, you could start with reading this, I think, and then later, after reading the story, either you could have the students use square pieces of paper and little counters or Unifix cubes to represent the 32 people. They could figure out a seating arrangement on their own and try to see how they could fit all the people and what kind of seating arrangements they all come up with. Or you could go back to the book and have each of the kids go through each step as you read each part as more people keep coming to kind of represent what's going on in the story so they can get a better understanding of that. And then that will be able to help them understand the area is the table and then perimeter is like the people on the outside. I kind of like that you can start it off by having a different unit instead of the perimeter being feet or inches or something. You can represent it as the people. Either it's 1 person or 2 people wide, and how long is the table based on a person. They don't have to worry about measuring yet. So I kind of liked how this book had it where you can have that be the unit instead of just throwing the numbers in if you're starting the area and perimeter ideas with the younger kids. At the back of the book, they also had some help for the teachers if you had some ideas you weren't sure how to work on. They have different tips for you, and I also like they have the different pictures for how each of the tables were. Just something you can use that, and even you can just show your kids too on the different ways to do it. And I liked some of the other things you can add in. They give some little tips and ideas that you can do. Is just to show them in a different way, kind of like these other ones here, is that the perimeter and area are different, and then you can have one long row of the tables, or you can have different widths and things like that. So I think it would be fun to have them be able to use some manipulatives like the paper for a table and counters for people, just to kind of play around with this idea of having tables be the area and figure out how setting them up a different way is going to give you different perimeters and different areas, and then it's a lot more hands-on. You can have these discussions in partners, or you could do groups and then share a whole class, or if you want the kids to be doing it individually, you can have them do that later individually. But I really liked how this book connected to the real world with tables and chairs, and it's really easy for the kids to understand what's going on, and there's not a lot of numbers being thrown in, so it's a lot easier for them to kind of get the idea of what area is and what the perimeter is if they haven't learned that before. It's a little easier to understand if you're just talking about people being the outside perimeter. So I liked how they did that, and then it was a really cute, funny book, so it made it fun to read. I think kids would really enjoy having it read to them. And then you could also have tons of different activities coming out of this book. So I just really enjoyed how it was written. It was funny and it was really cute, but then it also had a lot of really good math content in here for area and perimeter. All right. Thank you guys for listening.